Hi Tom, this is analysis of your swim video from our Wednesday night session. We're just going to watch through a few clips in slow motion and kind of slow a few bits down and pick up on some stuff for you to be working on. First clip we've got is from the side up here, out the water. I'll just let it play through a little bit so you can actually watch it in motion, and then we're going to go through it slowed down a little bit. Okay, perfect. So we'll go back to the start slightly on this. Okay, a couple of things we can pick up on here that are really good. Your hand entry with both hands. So if you watch your right hand entry there, you're going in fingertips first, reach forwards under the water. Really good entry. Left hand, fingertips first, reach forwards under the water, start the pull. Really good. Your breathing position's really good. So you're breathing there, your head staying nice and low on the water. So if you just watch through a couple of breaths, you can see when you turn to breathe, you're staying nice and low on the water. So your ears kind of left ears pressed down into the water. That's really good. That'll be helping with body position on your stroke. However, one of the things you could work on is your body positions. You'll notice your legs, although just there, they kind of break the surface. They do spend quite a lot of time below the surface. So getting your legs closer up towards the top of the water will help knock some time off of your kind of 400 splits and stuff. We'll have a look in a second what you can do to work on with that. We're going to move on to the next clip, which is under the water. And again, I'll let this one play through a little bit. There's a few things on here that we can see that are really good. So we'll go all the way back. There's a lot of people on the Wednesday night session who aren't very good at changing their finger wrist position at the start of the stroke. So you're about to start the stroke here. Your arm is kind of like completely straight out in front with your hand as well, just before you start. As you start the stroke, one thing you do really well is that kind of how you change your hand position here. So you can see here, your hand's dropped right to there, which is going to be doing you some really good kind of propulsive work and pushing water in that direction, which is good. One of the things you could work on, and this is quite common with a lot of the people we've been looking at, is your elbow position. So you see how your elbow is dropped quite low at the moment. If I draw over your arms, you can see that you're kind of in that position. So you're not really getting any propulsion from your forearm at this point in the stroke. If you were to hold a position a little bit more like that, then you'd start to be using your forearm more in the pull and generate more water in that direction, if that makes sense, which will do you some favours. It's exactly the same with the other arm. So if we watch this arm, again, you've dropped your fingers there. So hand, that's a good place to pause. Hand is in a really good position there, pushing that water in that direction, but again, you're dropping the elbow on there, so you can see that you're almost in that position, and what we want to be aiming for is that position. So try and think when you start the pull, your elbow should stay a little bit closer to the surface a little bit later, just so you engage your forearm earlier on the stroke. Okay, let's clear that off and play it through. So you're doing your hand movement really well there, but try to use your forearm earlier in the stroke. We'll just play through. Again, that's that kind of good breathing position I was talking about. So we talk about split screen in swimming, a good breathing position. You should have one goggle lens just touching the surface of the water as you take your breath, which you've got. So that's spot on. That's looking really good on there. We'll just play through a few more. Great smile, very nice, that's good. One thing you could also work on is just make sure when you're finishing off the stroke, it's not too bad there actually, just make sure that you're pushing right the way through to the end. So you can see your hands facing back there. Yeah, actually that's okay. I was slightly worried that you were turning your hand a little bit too early to take it out of the water. If we go back a few strokes, you'll see as this hand goes through, it's on the next stroke. There. There. I was kind of worried a little bit, if you can see over here, that you were stopping pulling and turning your hand into kind of a slicing position a little bit early in the stroke, but actually, having looked through the next little clip when your arm comes out, I think that's probably alright. One thing we can see towards the end of this clip is one of the reasons why your legs are sinking down a little bit. You see how far apart your legs are splitting there, so you've got one leg coming out all the way over there. And again there, not too bad there. there. So if I go back ever so slightly, just try not to have your leg kick quite that wide. So again, if you keep that more streamlined and closer together, less drag, it's going to help aid your body position and lift your legs up on there. Okay, we'll move on to the next clip, which is from above. Okay, it's going to zoom out slightly. Perfect. Okay, so let's watch this. All we're looking for here is to make sure you're not crossing over in front of your head. So if you imagine a center line down the middle of you, so we'll draw one on in kind of that direction from your kind of middle of your hips through your head. You don't want your hand to be crossing over in front of that entry. So we can see that your left hand there is fine. It's going in. It's not crossing over that line at all. If we watch your right hand though, you'll notice that as this one comes in, it definitely crosses over to almost in line with the other shoulder on there. So your right hand is crossing over on your entry there. And it's so your left is perfect. There's you goofing around. Very nice little turn. Very good. And then again, if you watch these first few strokes, you might not be able to see it from here. No, we'll go back and just have a little look at your leg kick on that position. So again, you'll be able to see where those wide points are on your kick. So your legs are quite wide apart there. Okay, final clip. So we're looking underwater from the front. This is where you can probably find the biggest gains, I'd say. Lots of good stuff going on here, and your right arm, which is there, is pulling in a really good position. So if anyone else is watching this that I've moaned at about this, this is the position your arm wants to be in when you're pulling. That's really good on there. If we carry on playing it through, this is the position your arm doesn't want to be in. So you see on your left arm as you're swimming along, and it's when you're taking that breath, you're almost, in fact you are, all the way over here. So what you want to be aiming for with that arm is to be same as you are with your right arm, basically, a little bit more in that position on there. So you're slicing over with that left hand through the stroke, and it's the same every time whenever you breathe. So if I just play it through, you can see that one's in the right position, that one again all the way over there, so big crossover. And it's the same principle as if you were looking from above. So imagine there's a line down, we don't want to be crossing over that, whereas at the moment your arm's coming over it considerably over to the other side. And again, what we want to be aiming for, if you could be in that position like that, the same as you are with your right hand, that would be perfect. Just watch one more. So again, that's the right position, and that's when you're coming across. So if I just go back, you'll be able to see it. It's like that's kind of the worst part on that bit of the pull. Everything else from under the water looks quite good. You could try and work on your bilateral breathing to fix that a little bit. So the reason you're just doing it on your left hand side, so again, we can see it there in that position, how much it's coming across, is because you're just breathing to the right hand side. So you'll have kind of picked up that habit. So something to work on in the sessions, you can definitely do bilateral breathing drills, or you could do some just completely breathing to the opposite side. I bet if you were to swim along breathing to the left hand side only, you probably find you wouldn't do that anywhere near as bad if you were swimming like that. Okay, hopefully that's useful for you, buddy. I will see you on a Wednesday evening very soon. Alright, cheers Tom, bye bye.